Hello, everyone, and welcome to Duel Links Entertainment. I am your host, SkyHigh14, and today I am with top competitor from the DLM community, Serenity. Say hi.
What's up, guys?
Great. So, Serenity, last week and this week has been hitting the tournament circuit with a top 16 and top 32 positions with the Aromage deck. Now, Serenity, let's give us a breakdown of the deck here that you have.
So I've been playing this deck for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I've spent a lot of time to optimize every single card in this deck.
Yeah.
I have pretty much done ratios and pretty much just want to condense the engine as much as possible to fit in these other tech cards.
Yeah.
So here I have two Aromage Jasmine.
Okay.
I believe three is not necessary because you'll see why later. I play another monster that I would like to normal summon over Jasmine in most situations. The
Okay.
reason I don't play one is because having two does come up, and I do want 5 normal summons in the deck to make it as consistent as possible.
Okay, I
I
get you.
play one Angelica. You really only need one. You could search it whenever. You don't ever need it turn one.
Yep.
And you could, if you ever need it again, you can always shuffle it back into the deck or special summon it with Blessed Winds. This deck is really this card is really good.
Yeah.
Can really save you in a lot of situations where you have to discard and maybe target a Rosemary or a Marjoram in the graveyard and gain 2,000 life points if your opponent's trying to go for lethal.
Yeah.
Just really good card. I play one Marjoram. Pretty self-explanatory. It's a hand trap basically. Really good for when your opponent is attacking into your monsters. You could just search this with human winds, and you special summon it right after, gain 500,
Yeah.
banish your card on the field. The banish effect is really good in this meta right now. Really affects Thunder Dragons, Element Sabers, Shiranui. Really, almost all of the decks get affected by banishing from the graveyard.
Yeah, and that's key with against the meta nowadays, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Very graveyard reliant meta.
Yeah.
I play one copy of Aromage Rosemary. I see a lot of people playing more
Yeah.
copies of this card. You really don't need more copies of this card. This isn't really a card you want to see turn one. It's not the optimal play you want to do turn one. The reason you really play this card is because of its other effect to negate all monster effects when any plant attacks. And this is really good in the meta right now because Spear Creepo and Kiteroid is pretty prevalent. And a lot of the times when you're going for lethal, you really want to have this card on the field because it completely negates Spear Creepo and other cards like that are set.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And for the spice, I play 3 Naturia Rose Whip.
One of my favorite cards.
Really
yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, this card is really good when paired with What Grows in the Graveyard.
Yep.
And what grows in the what grows graveyard does is it starts the duel with having a Dark Verger in your graveyard, which is a level 2 normal type plant monster. And when you normal summon a plant tuner, it will special summon itself onto the field.
Nice.
So you have this level 3 plant tuner that you normal summon. You special summon the Rose Whip, and now you have 3+2 to make a Rosemary Synchro.
Yeah.
Which is just a really good turn one play. It has 2,000 attack. It can be 2,500 if you gain life points, 3,000 on the first turn if you activate Garden.
Yeah.
And it can negate select cards pretty well, like Shiranui Solitaire. If you use it on Shiranui Solitaire, it's going to negate it when it activates itself.
Yeah, that's right.
And there's also like a bunch of other interactions it has, such as like hitting a palace on the field, a palace of the element sabers. You can use Rosemary effects because it doesn't just negate monster effects; it negates all face-up cards.
All face. Okay, great. Okay.
I play 3 Garden. There is a pretty large debate on playing Garden versus Gardening.
Yes.
In my opinion, Garden's a lot better because you can use Garden whenever you want, pretty much, right? When you have your Aromages, you don't have to have the condition of normal summoning a monster
that's true.
Gain those life points.
Yeah.
And second, this is really important that Garden adds 500 life points while Gardening adds 1,000 life points. And the reason that this is important is because of how Humid Winds works. in where you
Oh,
have to pay 1,000 life points and then
yeah,
you can gain 500 life points if you're lower than your opponent. If
yeah.
you use gardening and you have 5,000 life points and your opponent has 4,000 life points, next turn when you have only human wins, you cannot gain those life points back, even if you pay 1,000 life points, which is really bad because
Yeah,
a lot of the times you want to have Rosemary being able to negate a card on the field
that's
whenever
true.
you need to.
That
So
makes
you need to
sense.
have
Yeah,
lower life points than your opponent
that's
to
a
do
great
that.
point. Yeah, that's a great point. Wow. Okay, good breakdown there.
So that's the reason I like Garden more. Also,
Yeah.
Garden 500 attack boost is absolutely amazing, and this is stackable. So
Mm-hmm.
if you were to use Garden and then you activate another Garden, you could use it again, and then you'll get plus 1,000 for that turn.
Yeah, and it's not only plants; it's every monster you summon, right? Or is on the
Every single
field.
monster you summon,
That's
which
awesome.
absolutely does come up. You'll
Yeah.
see when I get to the end. Next I have is tech cards. Now I usually play 3 of these tech cards because the general core of the deck that I play, haven't changed this in like 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the best core to play in the deck. Um, it's a 17 core, so you could play 3 tech cards, and
Okay.
you could play mostly anything here. Now, here's why I play Fiendish Chain. I think Fiendish Chain right now is the best tech card in the meta because of how it deals with the problematic cards Aromages have in this meta, where
Yeah.
there's Black Rose Dragon and there's Levenier. Those are very popular,
Yeah.
and you really need to stop those cards because those cards can really destroy your strategy as they, pop 2 cards on the field,
Yeah. It's
and
devastating.
you can't negate it with Rosemary because it's a trigger effect, and
Mm-hmm.
Rosemary um, cannot negate trigger effects basically because
Yeah.
of how gaining life points works
Yeah.
in this game. So you have to play stuff like Fiendish Chain. And if you don't have Fiendish Chain, I know Fiendish Chain is very expensive
Yeah. It
for
is.
you newer players or you free to play players.
Mm-hmm.
There's also Void Trap Hole. Void Trap Hole does basically the same thing and arguably can be better than Fiendish Chain. Um, and Void Trap Hole is relatively cheap. It's an SR in a mini box from a very long time ago. So that mini box right now is 25 gems per pack.
Yeah.
And there's only 80 packs in that box right now.
Okay.
So you could get 3 copies of these cards relatively cheap if you need to.
Yeah.
You can also play stuff like Treacherous Trap Hole. You could play Enemy Controller. You could play Forbidden Chalice.
Mm-hmm.
Really, anything you want to play. You can even play Rose Archer if you're, afraid of those Dark Magicians out right now in the ladder.
And Rose Archer's a hand trap, right? For
Yeah,
traps.
Rose
Okay.
Archer. Rose Archer is a hand trap that if you control a plant type monster and your opponent activates a trap card, you could discard it from your graveyard and negate it. And it can also
Mm,
negate trap cards in the damage step, such as Mirror Wall.
I get you.
So it's very, very useful when you're going against a Dark Magician. You just negate their navigation when they activate it.
Yeah.
Next, 3 human wins. To me, in my opinion, this is a no-brainer. I think every single Aromage deck should play 3 if you have 3.
Okay.
I have seen a couple of people say that they think human wins is risky or human wins isn't good,
Yep.
which is just simply not true.
Okay.
Human wins, searches out your entire deck.
Yeah.
It gains life points for you. It really does it all, right? It's a
Yeah.
really good card.
Yeah.
You really want it. You could search Marjoram in your opponent's turn. You could
Mm-hmm.
search Angelica in your opponent's turn to help you live.
Mm-hmm.
You could search Jasmine to extend your plays. You could search Rosemary when you want to go for game.
Yeah.
It really does it all. It's
Yeah.
a really good card. Lastly, 3 Blessed Winds. This is
Mm-hmm.
also pretty obvious. Blessed Winds is probably the best card in your deck.
Yeah.
It really does it all. You can activate it whenever. Something about Rose Whip is when you normal summon Rose Whip and
Uh-huh.
make that Rosemary synchro, you
Mm.
now have that Rose Whip in your graveyard. So that Bless Wins, if you ever need to gain life points, and Rose Whip and Bless Wins is your only way of gaining life points,
Yeah.
you can activate its second effect to target one plant type monster in your graveyard, which is Rose Whip. Send it back to your deck
You get to
and gain 500
reshuffle
life
it.
points.
Yeah, then you get to
Right,
reuse it if you draw it again. Okay.
right. You get to
Oh,
reuse it, and
yeah.
this means that you don't have to send a plant type monster from your hand, which is a
Mm.
waste of card advantage,
Yeah,
or send the Dark Verger back into the deck because you want the Dark Verger in your deck pretty much
I
ending
get
in
you.
your graveyard at all times,
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
much.
Wow. And there it is. That's your main deck. 20 cards. Very, very solid.
Yeah,
With
this is a
what
20 card
grows.
main deck.
Yeah, with what grows as your
Now I
skill.
want to talk about the extra deck.
Extra deck.
The
Yep.
extra deck was, yeah, took me a while
Uh huh.
to figure out exactly what I wanted in the extra deck. I've been playing around with a ton of cards in the extra deck, and right now I feel like this is what I really want in extra deck right now.
Yeah.
So what I play 2 Aroma Roseberry in the extra deck. This is pretty standard. I think pretty much everyone plays 2, especially when you're playing Rose Whip. You make Rosemary all the time.
Yep.
I really like summoning 2 Rose Whips. I mean 2 Rosemaries, because you know they stack. You get the plus 1000 on all of your plant type monsters. It's really good. You can make your Rosemary 3000 attack without even having Garden on the field. And if you have Garden, you have 3500, which is just absolutely,
yeah, it's huge. Insane. Yeah.
I play 1 Splendid Rose. Splendid Rose comes out of the same box that Humid Winds has. So if you have 3 Humid Winds, you probably have 1 Splendid Rose. This card is really good. It's a level 6. You can make this card most commonly by using the Rosemary Cinco you already made and Angelica, or you can make you make it with Angelica and Marjoram. And once per turn, you can banish 1 plant type monster from your graveyard. You're gonna have a bunch of those, especially Rose Whips. You could just banish those from your graveyard if you don't need them. Target 1 monster controls half its attack. And during the battle phase, you could do the same thing. Banish a plant type monster from your graveyard, and then you can attack again while having own card stack. It has really good OTK potential and getting over big monsters. Next card I have is another level 5. I play Samsara. I see a lot of people playing Aromage. Yeah, Samsara, Dragon of Rebirth. I see a lot of people playing Aromage. I think Aromage is good, but I don't think it's necessary. And I think Samsara is really good right now because of a lot of like huge monsters in the meta, a lot of stuff in the graveyard. And it's really good when you're behind, because it has 2600 defense. And when your opponent destroys it, you can special summon any monster from either player's graveyard, kind of like a Monster Reborn.
Wow. Okay.
Right. It's a really good stall card. Again, if you're behind, you normal summon the Rose Whip, special summon the Dark Verger. It only takes 1 card. You put it in defense position, and your opponent has to deal with it. And for some decks, it does take a little bit to deal with it, especially something like Blue Eyes, because if when they attack over it, then you can steal a Blue Eyes from their graveyard. Next card I have is Samurai Destroyer, level 7. I see a lot of people playing Black Rose. I think Black Rose is okay. The reason I don't like Black Rose is because it's hard to get off its effect because of how hard it is to make a level 7. And it takes a ton of resources.
It does,
and you can't really do that late game because then you're going to be blowing up your own field. And the whole point of this deck is to have your traps in the field.
Yeah, that was
so
always
I don't really
bother.
like Black Rose. Right.
Yeah.
So I like Samurai Destroyer a lot. I think Samurai Destroyer is, one of the best synchros in the meta right now. And something I really like about it is how Garden gains 500 attack to all of your monsters, not just plant type monsters. You can have a 3100 Samurai Destroyer on your field when you make it, and that's very strong. Against Thunder Dragons or against Blue Eyes, it's very tough for them to deal with it.
Yeah.
And also want to mention that Samurai Destroyer, when it has a 500 attack boost from Garden, can get over Saber Dancer, Luna Light Saber Dancer.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yep.
And lastly, Miss Bird. Play Miss Bird. It's level 3. Really good level 3.
Yeah.
You make it by you can normal summon Angelica. Dark Verger will also come from the graveyard. It's not just Rose Whip. It's any plant type tuner.
Yeah.
So you can normal summon Angelica. Get the Verger, make it level 3. It's a 2300 defense, 0 attack, but once per turn you could target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. It could be a normal monster like a Blue Eyes. Its attack becomes 0. And its effects are negated. It's a really strong effect when you're trying to OTK.
Yeah. Wow.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a funny card. Yeah, it's good. Level 3
also,
synchro.
Yeah, level 3 synchro. You can make it with Jasmine as well. Jasmine and Angelica.
Okay.
And it also gains 500 defense from the Garden. You activated the Garden that turn.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So it can be 2800 defense on your turn and your opponent's turn.
Yeah. Awesome. So there you go. That's the deck breakdown that he has. Like again, he got top 16 and top 32 in the meta weeklies in the DLM community. If you like the video, like and subscribe. give it a thumbs up. I am your host, SkyHigh14, and I'll see you next time. Have a good night, everybody.